So this is an interesting piece of content for me to film. Basically, Knowlton, the agency, run by two Knowlton brothers, runs a podcast called Business Anchors. And they released an episode about being ethical, which of course got my interest. So what I thought I would do was take some really crucial parts of that podcast. They also don't know that I'm doing this. Take some crucial parts of that podcast and give you a reaction as I listen back to it. The bits I'm going to focus on basically just talk about me. So it seemed like a great idea. So this is part one. Of course, if you do want to watch the entire Business Anchors podcast, I suggest you do. It's good. They're both a good listen, part one and part two. But this is part one. I thought the most crucial part. Okay. Here we go.
Can I share some interesting responses to that betting post that I think will be good?
Are they more interesting than my opinion?
Yeah. Shut you up at the moment.
Yeah, nice.
So, Shaun Staunton from Sleeping Giant Media.
Can't even say my name right.
Who's,
Great guy.
we really like. Again, this was like 6 months ago, so you probably won't remember. But he said...
I remember.
Really interesting one. I like where you're going with this. I personally believe a company exists with a just cause at its core. It's why we have visions for companies, right? The idea is that we have a purpose. So the real question is, what is your just cause? The answer to that may determine what keeps you on track of advancing your just cause and what doesn't. Also worth noting that money isn't a vision, just because cause or a why. It's a byproduct of the work you do. I'm so terrible at reading.
I'll put a little link so you can read it. I don't think Dan can read, but good effort.
But basically, he's saying that a company has a just cause. And also, I followed up with asking him, I'm intrigued. What's Sleeping Giant, which is another agency in Folkestone, what's your just cause? And he said, we're currently doing some developments to ours at the moment, interestingly enough. But essentially, ours is to empower people, teams, clients, and ourselves to become better and live our full potential, which I think is a wicked just cause.
Really interestingly enough, we're still working on our kind of vision at Sleeping Giant Media. It's pretty much done. I think there's a few things that we're just kind of confirming, and we have started using it in some of our collateral and kind of how we present ourselves externally. But I don't think we've necessarily done a grand reveal of it yet. So I'm reluctant to say it just in case. But yeah, you can see that response there, which is alluding to what the vision and just cause is at Sleeping Giant Media.
It's quite interesting. What do you think our just cause is? We haven't really thought about it, have we?
Probably exactly that, but slightly better.
Yeah.
No, I would like us to focus more on that in the next couple of years as we're growing, because I think it will give us direction. And when these opportunities arise more as we grow, it will give us a better kind of framework to make our decisions and think why we're making those decisions. Yeah. But I think that makes sense. And I suppose with the gambling thing, are you helping anyone get better by supporting that?
No.
My argument would be no.
No, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, interesting. Good opinion, Shaun. I agree with you.
Also, lots of
lovely person.
There's some other good, interesting comments which kind of.
They don't zoom in on Lloyd's face on that one, but I think we should zoom in on that. So I'm just going to replay that just so you can see how much emotion is in his face when he says that.
Good opinion, Shaun. I agree with you.
Also, lots of
lovely person.
There's some other good, interesting.
Okay, so that's part one. As you can see, really crucial. The context as to the post itself, you'll be able to see on LinkedIn. So I put a screenshot here about basically would Dan and Lloyd work with a betting company, and kind of where do their morals lie with it. But yeah, I wonder if I can link to the post. I'm going to try and link to the post. And if you want to get involved in that conversation, why not? It's got a fair amount of engagement already, but why not add a bit more, So, moving on to another exciting part. This is part two. And now I need to get to the most appropriate part, the most important part of the podcast, which is about here. Take it away, Lloyd.
So I wanted to just talk about a business that I think is good and ethical, that we should aspire to be like, which you actually mentioned previously because you spoke about Shaun. So from an outsider's perspective, Sleeping Giant, you might think, oh, we've tricked them well thinking that, but no, I think you're genuinely Sleeping Giant Media seem to be a very ethical business, and I've seen, and especially Shaun seems to have been a really big part in driving towards them, making positive changes for the environment and things like that. And I thought, looking at them, I would like us to have more kind of initiatives and a vision that us and our team can have a positive impact. Because I think, firstly, selfishly, it will feel good for us all to be like, oh, we've made this impact. But secondly, I think it'd be the right thing for us to work
All right,
towards.
what are you going to do about it?
I am going to.
He's going to say that it will be a good initiative.
I'm going to tell the world that it's a good thing.
Number one, tick.
Yeah. And then behind the scenes, we're going to do nothing. No. I think as we're growing quite quickly at the moment, but I think that's something in our, when we have like our monthly management meetings, I think that would be a good thing for us to discuss. Like, what could we start doing? Maybe we should speak to Shaun from Sleeping Giant as well, get some ideas and inspiration.
Let's do that.
But I mean, we do good stuff. Like when we kitted out this office, we use a lot of upcycled furniture and stuff.
I remember this.
And we put insulation in the walls and stuff, so we didn't. Yeah, so we're really good and stuff.
Yeah, we're really green.
Yeah.
As I'm completely off topic, by the way.
I actually remember them talking about The Office. I think they made a point of highlighting it when Charlotte and I rocked up to kind of see the new place, which I appreciate. The messaging's getting out there. But yeah, that's probably my first take on anything remotely similar to kind of Gogglebox in that sense. I would recommend you listen to the podcast part 1 and 2 in all seriousness. They are really good. I think it's a really interesting topic of debate. And there's actually a part in it where Lloyd and Dan start almost debating over whether you can be ethical and a billionaire at the same time. It's interesting. So definitely get involved. Listen to the podcast. I think they're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I'm sure there's more, but it's also on YouTube. This is where I'm watching this video from. But yeah, like hugely humbled by the fact I made it onto the podcast. I mean, I've kind of made it now, haven't I? Is there any higher than to be featured and referenced in a podcast? I don't think so. But yeah, awesome. I'm keen to see where this conversation continues. But yeah, check out the podcast. Keen to hear what you have to say. Get involved. Even if you don't tag me in it, still get involved. It'd be great if you did tag me in it though, just so I know. But other than that, I'll see you around. Thanks, Dan and Lloyd. Knowlton.